Okay, so get this right. Today we're diving into this whole DigiCommCafe thing.
Sounds caffeinated.
Right. But no, it's not about like rating Wi-Fi speeds or anything, though honestly, that's not a terrible idea for a future deep
We'll
dive.
put it on the list.
Definitely. But no, this DigiCommCafe, it's a podcast, and they're all about, get this, a buffet of digital communication experiences.
Bold claim.
Totally. So like, what are they serving up at this digital buffet? Let's find out, right?
Let's dig in. A buffet of digital communications experiences that just screams variety. We could be talking anything from smoke signals to AI-powered telepathy, right?
And knowing these deep dives, probably a little of both. And they're not kidding about the buffet part. We're talking a massive spread, 347 episodes. Ran for a good while, too, 2019 to 2023. The host, Denny J, K5DCC, been busy.
K5DCC, that's a familiar ring to it.
Right. Rings a bell for me, too. That's a dead giveaway, isn't it? Tells us something about Denny J's background.
Definitely. That's a call sign, plain and simple. Denny G's got a past, and that past is probably steeped in amateur radio waves.
A true radio aficionado. Explains why they've got episodes on everything from the nitty-gritty technical stuff. There's one called Radio on the Rocks Cafecast.
Catchy.
Right. Makes you want to tune in. They also dive deep into specific gear like one on the Retivus RT99. Not exactly something you'd chat about over coffee and donuts.
Unless you're with the right crowd. But speaking of coffee chats and tech, with Denny J's background, that episode titled Conversations with Pi takes on a whole new meaning, doesn't it?
Hold on. We're not talking about some delicious dessert recipe here, are we?
Not unless it's a recipe for cutting-edge communication tech. Conversations with Pi, with a ham radio host. That's got to be about AI and how it's changing the game for radio communication.
Whoa, AI and ham radio. Okay, now we're talking. Are we talking AI helping to, like, decipher weak signals or maybe translate languages in real time, or even, like, acting as a digital companion during those late-night transmissions?
All possibilities. DigiCommCafe seems to be all about pushing the boundaries of communication tech. But they don't just stay in the theoretical, ivory tower of tech talk. They get down to the practical, the everyday uses. There's an entire episode dedicated to the HT app, specifically how truckers are using it.
See, that's what I like. It's one thing to geek out about the technology itself, but it's another to see how it's actually being used by real people in their everyday lives.
Exactly. And it's not just about chit-chatting on the open road either. Their Telegram channel, they got this whole thing about Meshtastics, license-free, open source, off-grid mesh networks for texting.
Okay, now that's just cool. We're talking about, like, the ability to communicate even when the cell towers are down, right? Like during a natural disaster or something.
Precisely. It's like they're preparing listeners for a future where communication resilience is key. They're looking beyond everyday apps and cell service to those technologies that can keep us connected no matter what.
This is making me want to check out their Telegram channel, like right now. It's like they're saying, hey, the future of communication is in your hands, and they're giving you the tools to build it.
Exactly. It's not just about staying connected today, it's about being prepared for tomorrow. And who knows what tomorrow might bring. DigiCommCafe seems to be all about exploring those possibilities. And you know what's cool about it? It's not all doom and gloom, right? Like prepare for the apocalypse kind of vibe.
Right.
It's more like, hey, here's how you can be more connected, more in control. It's refreshing.
Yeah, it's empowering, right?
Yeah.
Like taking communication into your own hands. And speaking of which, there's this episode, let me see, Radio on the Rocks Cafecast. It was from January 31st, 2023. This one featured Ilya Zilber, KI5VHX from Austin, Texas.
Radio on the Ranks Cafecast. Okay, now that's a title that just screams community, doesn't it? Like, you can practically hear the coffee cups clinking.
Totally. And you know that KI5VX bit, that tells us Ilya's part of that ham radio world too.
So we've got Denny J, our host, bringing on another ham radio enthusiast.
Sounds like a recipe for some serious radio wave geek out sessions.
Definitely. But it's more than just tech talk, right? It's about the people behind the tech, the stories they have to tell.
And Denny J seems to have a knack for finding those stories.
Totally. Like with Ilya, right. Denny J's not just showcasing some abstract tech wizardry. He's giving a platform to the human side of ham radio.
Showing that it's not just about antennas and frequencies, it's about people connecting with each other, sharing their passion. I like that.
Me too. It's like he's breaking down those barriers, showing that anyone can get into this world. You don't need to be an electronics whiz to appreciate the magic of radio waves.
And speaking of magic, there's another episode, Radio on the Rocks Cafecast. This one from January 26, 2023. This time, it's a live radio interview with W9KK.
Live on the air. Oh, that's brave. You never know what's going to happen with live radio.
It's true. Makes it exciting, though, right? You could have anything from technical glitches to surprise guests calling in.
Talk about unpredictable, but that's part of the charm, isn't it?
Totally. It's like Denny J saying, hey, come along for this ride. You never know what we might encounter on the airwaves.
It's like a little adventure, but with radio waves instead of maps and compasses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, it highlights the power of serendipity, right? Like,
Yeah.
you never know who you're going to connect with or what you're going to learn when you just open yourself up to those unexpected encounters.
It's like stumbling upon a hidden gem, but instead of a dusty attic, it's the vast expanse of the radio dial.
That's a great way to put it. It's like, even in our hyper-connected world, there's still room for those chance encounters, those moments of like pure connection that you just can't script.
And those moments, they often lead to the most interesting conversations, don't they? The ones you never knew you needed to have.
Absolutely. And speaking of interesting conversations, remember that Conversations with Pi episode we talked about earlier?
Oh, yeah, the one where Denny J.A. potentially throws AI into the mix with ham radio.
That's the one. It's just such a fascinating concept to me, Like, what could AI actually do in the world of ham radio?
Well, that's what Denny G's trying to figure out, isn't he? He's always looking ahead, thinking about the tools and technologies that are going to shape the future of communication.
And he's not afraid to, like, really dive into the weeds with it, which I appreciate.
Same here. So you're wondering about practical applications, right? Like, what could AI actually do for ham radio operators? Let's brainstorm a bit.
Yeah, like, give me some concrete examples. What could AI-powered ham radio actually look like? What could it do?
Okay, well, imagine this, right? You're trying to have a conversation with another ham radio operator, but they're like halfway across the world and they speak a completely different language.
Happens all the time, right? I mean, that's part of the beauty of ham radio, that global reach.
Exactly, but also a challenge, right? So imagine AI steps in, right? Real-time language translation built right into your ham radio setup. You speak English, they hear it in their language, and vice versa. No more language barriers.
Whoa. That would be huge. It would completely change the game for international communication. What else? What else could AI do?
Okay, so think about signal propagation, right? It's fickle, it's always changing, it's a huge part of what makes ham radio so challenging, but also, part of the fun, right?
Totally. It's like a puzzle you're always trying to solve.
Exactly. So imagine AI that can analyze those signals, the atmospheric conditions, all of it, and then suggest the optimal frequencies for long-distance communication.
That would be incredible, especially during those contests where every second counts. Or when you're chasing a really rare DX contact.
Exactly. Or think about noise reduction. Anyone who's spent time with a ham radio knows that static and interference are just part of the deal.
Oh, tell me about it. It's like trying to have a conversation at a rock concert sometimes.
Right. But imagine AI-powered noise reduction that could, filter out all that unwanted noise and make those transmissions crystal clear.
Now, that would be a game changer. It would be like having a digital audio engineer built right into your radio.
Exactly. Making those weak signals pop, filtering out the noise all in real time. And you know what else I think would be really cool?
What's that?
AI companions, specifically for newcomers to ham radio. Imagine a virtual mentor right there in your shack that could answer your questions, give you guidance, even offer encouragement.
It'd be like having a 247 ham radio buddy, right? Someone to help you navigate all the technical jargon and protocol.
Exactly. It could make the hobby so much more accessible. You wouldn't need to know everything right off the bat. You'd have this AI companion there to guide you, to help you learn and grow as an operator.
Now, that's an idea I can get behind. Making ham radio less intimidating for beginners. Because let's face it, it can be a bit overwhelming at first, right?
For sure. So many knobs and buttons and acronyms.
Exactly. But, all this talk about AI, it's not just about fancy gadgets and futuristic scenarios, right? It's about something bigger.
Right. It goes back to what DigiCommCafe is all about, exploring all the ways we can stay connected no matter what. Whether it's through traditional ham radio, mesh networks, or even AI-powered tools, it's about building a more resilient and connected world.
Exactly. And speaking of connections, there was another episode of DigiCommCafe that really stuck with me. It was the interview with Rob Monsipapa, AK7RM.
Another ham radio operator. Denny J seems to have a knack for finding these interesting characters within the community.
He really does.
Yeah.
What was it about Rob that stood out?
Well, they described him as an extra-class amateur radio operator who has gotten involved in GMRS so clearly. He's deep into the world of radio communication, but he's also bridging the gap between different communities.
It's like he's got one foot in the world of ham radio and the other in the world of GMRS. I bet that makes for some fascinating conversations.
Definitely. And he's not just talking about it, he's inviting people to join him.
That's
He's
right.
got his USGMRS Arizona Facebook group and his USGMRS Arizona HT network channel. Like, he's actively creating spaces for people to connect and learn from each other.
I love that. It's like he's putting that DigiCommCafe philosophy into action.
Totally. And it reminds me of another great interview. Denny did this one with Edward St. Jude, the trucker we talked about earlier.
Oh yeah, Edward. The one who was an early adopter of the HT app, right?
That's the one. He was using that app to stay connected with other truckers long before it was, like, mainstream. And his story really highlights just how essential communication is in that line of work.
Absolutely. It's not just about convenience. It's about safety, about staying sane when you're on the road for days or even weeks at a time.
Exactly. And Denny J, he doesn't just leave it at that, right? He actually encourages listeners to connect with Edward, to join his HT Cafe chat Telegram group.
He's all about taking action, about building those real-world connections. And, that's what I appreciate most about DigiCommCafe. It's not just about passive listening. It's about empowering listeners to become active participants in this world of communication technology.
Totally agree. Denny J is not just sharing information, he's building a community.
Yeah.
And that's something special.
It really is. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of DigiCommCafe, what are some key takeaways you hope our listeners will carry with them?
I think more than anything, Denny J's passion is contagious, isn't it? He reminds us that communication, it's more than just technology. It's about connecting with other human beings. And whether you're into ham radio or CB or even just chatting with your friends online, those connections, they matter.
They really do. And what I also appreciate is how DigiCommCafe highlights the accessibility of all this. You don't need to be a tech whiz or have a ton of expensive gear to get involved. There's a place for everyone in the world of communication, and Denny's does a fantastic job of showing that.
He really does. And maybe, most importantly, DigiCommCafe encourages us to be active participants in shaping the future of communication, to explore those new technologies, to connect with others, and to use these tools to build a more connected and resilient world. Because who knows what the future holds, but one thing's for sure, we're going to need to be able to communicate with each other.
Beautifully said. Well, there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into DigiCommCafe is complete. We hope this exploration has sparked your curiosity and maybe even inspired you to explore the ever-evolving world of communication. Until next time, keep those conversations flowing.
And remember, the world is full of fascinating voices. All you have to do is tune in.